Let's unpack tavern shootings with Damian Enslin, who's the chairperson of Gun Owners Association. Thank you so much for your time, Damian. We do appreciate it. This is truly tragic, given the fact that it's happened in 3 different places and lives have been lost. Many would say that there needs to be a relook at the gun control in this country, but I don't really think it's a gun control issue. I think it's got to do with the police's inability to deal with unlicensed firearms and people in possession of ammunition that they shouldn't be in possession of. What is your view?
Thank you, Heidi, and thank you to you and your viewers as well. First of all, we wish to express our sincere condolences to those family and friends and loved ones who lost people over these tragic shooting incidences. Absolutely. Illegal firearms is definitely a problem in South Africa and has been a problem for a number of years now. And we've been calling, SAGA has been calling for special task force units to be established to establish where these illegal firearms are coming from. Recently, we saw reports about firearms coming across from Namibia. We're certain these firearms coming from Mozambique, old arms caches. A lot of the firearms that are used in these type of murders and that are fully automatic AK-47s or R4, R5s, which you can only obtain from Defence Force or the police. Also, millions of rounds of ammunition are unaccounted for. SAPS, in the last 10 years, has probably lost more than 10 million rounds, and 75% of that is unaccounted for. So there are many, many opportunities for criminals to obtain not just firearms, but ammunition as well. And we need to get to the root of the problem and get proper specialized trained units to deal with the situation, Heidi.
I want us to speak about the police's role in all of this, because if you are saying that about 10 million rounds of ammunition has been unaccounted for or stolen, if I can use that word, in the last 10 years, that is a lot of ammunition. And given what was used in these shootings, the witnesses speaking about how these men were heavily armed. Where's police in all of this? Why are they not cracking down if they know that there's a problem with unlicensed firearms and this ammunition?
The problem seems to be in the inability of the police to put together these special task force units. Look, we obviously have a problem with crime intelligence. Crime intelligence has broken down over the years, and there's very little crime intelligence out there. So if you've got a situation where the last 10 years there's been hardly any crime intelligence, all the special task force units were demobilized, it takes a lot of resources and training and special know-how, knowledge to deal with these situations. And unfortunately, the police have lost a lot of these special units, persons with the in-depth knowledge, persons with the connections in terms of crimes intelligence. So it's going to take a lot on the part of the police to reestablish these units. And unfortunately, the police is contracting, getting smaller every year, and there's just not enough resources. So it needs to take some serious decisions on the part of government and police to allocate adequate resources to these special units, as well as the police, to combat crime, combat the organized crime, and get to the root of the problem.
I want us to also speak about the role of the police minister, Begigele, because people are saying that he should have a grip on policing, he should have a grip on firearms and ammunition. Also, of course, I think the Minister of Defence should come in here, because the ammunition that's being used is of great concern, and as you mentioned, mostly used in the military. But what role, and if any, should the police minister be playing in all of this to try and get unlicensed firearms out of these communities and out of the hands of these criminals?
Well, leadership starts from the top, from the minister to the national commissioner. We have a problem with, it seems, the inability of the top leadership of the police, and specifically the Minister of Police, to tackle these issues. There's no point grandstanding and going to meetings and nothing comes of it. There needs to be serious direction from the minister to the national commissioner to the top brass of the police to make something happen and start making a difference. There's too much politicizing of these issues rather than actually establishing these units. And as I said, resources need to be allocated, and these units need to be independent, and there needs to be independent oversight and accountability. And unfortunately, that is the biggest issue that we've had in the police for the years, is accountability. You know, we obviously know about Norwood Police Station. There's a number of police stations that have lost firearms over the years, and there seems to be very little accountability when these things happen, when firearms go missing. Absolutely, the Minister of Police needs to work in conjunction with SAD Defence Force as well, because it's not just a one-pronged attack, it has to be a multi-pronged attack with regards to this issue.
Just lastly, Damian, just looking at the situation and looking at what transpired in the last 24 hours or so, do you think things are going to get worse given the amounts of ammunition that's out there that's in the wrong hands and the illegal and unlawful firearms that are circulating?
Unfortunately, I don't foresee something overturning so quickly overnight. As I say, we're dealing with a problem that has been arising for more than 10 years. To try and reverse that problem, it's going to take a lot of effort on the part of the police, the minister, national commissioner, and government to overturn the situation. And unfortunately, we've got a situation where over the last 10 years, the police have just become unable to actually deal with the situation. So it's not a quick fix situation, and it does involve engaging communities and getting the corruption out of the police force. A lot of communities don't trust the police force anymore, unfortunately, because of the corrupt activities in the local police stations.
Sorry, Damian, just another quick one. I know you briefly touched on it in your first answer, but I must ask whether or not you think a lot of the ammunition that's being used or was used, I mean, we don't know at this stage, it comes from outside of South Africa.
Well, again, we have a lack of knowledge, and there's no sort of statistics about what is coming across the borders. We just know that, for instance, recently ammunition and firearms have come from Namibia. We are aware of rumors of firearms and ammunition come across from Mozambique. Obviously, we had the situation in July with the container ship, containers going, ammunition going missing from containers in Durban. So there's ammunition coming across from various sources, and I think, again, the government or the police are unable to ascertain because of the lack of special task force units to ascertain. So it's difficult for me to say to you whether the rounds used in the commission of these tavern shootings came across from Mozambique or from police sources. Obviously, if you look at the cartridge itself, you might be able to ascertain whether it's SADF or police ammunition, because they are specially marked, but it's difficult without adequate sort of statistics and know-how and knowledge in that.
Well, hopefully investigations show us exactly what happened, and this isn't just another case where police are given a 72-hour deadline and nothing transpires from it. But thank you so much for your insights. We do appreciate it. That was Damian Enslin, the chair of Gun Owners Association.